Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's recipe is this delicious ogbono soup that you see right here. Want to see how I made it? Let's get started. Here I have some cow leg, beef, shaki, also known as beef reed. I have white pomo, goat's meat and snails. All of this has been cleaned to perfection. I have dried catfish. I've soaked and cleaned this. I will debone before adding it to the soup. I have some stockfish and stockfish flakes. This has also been cleaned and soaked for about an hour. This right here is the smoked prawn. I have some crayfish powder, about 3 tablespoons. The star of the show, the ground ogbono. This is what it looks like before it was grounded into that powdered form. You can either use your grinder or have them grind it in your local market and you will have this. I have palm oil. It's cold because of the weather. I'll be using 3 onions in this recipe. I also have some scotch bonnet peppers. For my local soups, I like to use a combination of chicken and beef bouillon. I just love the flavor it gives. I'll be using some ogiri here. You can either use iru or skip them all together. I have blanched kale right here. If you don't have kale, use spinach, ugu or uziza leaves. This ground uziza seeds takes the soup from 1 to a million, so if you have it, please use it. I have salt. We're going to be using this to taste. I'll start by chopping 2 onions separately and then chop the other one with the scotch bonnet peppers. If you have been following my videos or will be following my videos, you will see me do this a lot. That is, blend onions separately and blend habanero with onions. This is to build flavor from the start. We don't want to struggle with seasoning our soup when it is done. When we have the opportunity to first season the meat and build flavor from there. So you can blend this with blender, but I choose to use mini chopper because I don't want to add water. Now to my clean pot, I'll add the toughest meats, which is cow leg in this case, shaki, and the beef. I'll season this lightly. Remember, we are trying to build flavor, so you don't want to add all of the seasoning just yet. I'll add a little bit of the onion pepper blend and the plain onion blend. I'll add some salt, give it a mix, and then I'll let it cook in its own juices for about 15 minutes. We are not adding water. This meat has its own juices and we are trying to extract that on medium heat. After 15 minutes, this is what we have. Can you see the juices I was talking about? This is the flavor. So I'll give it a mix and then add the other parts of the meat. Remember, I'm cooking this on medium heat. I'm not cooking it on low heat. If you cook it on low heat, you might need to do 30 minutes. But no, I'm using medium heat. So I've just added the white pomo, goat's meat and snails. I'll add some of the onion pepper blend and some of the plain onion blend. I'll add some bouillon cubes and a bit of salt. Can you see how we are building flavor? We seasoned it lightly at the first stage. Now we're adding some more seasoning. If you notice, the seasoning I use here is more than what I used in the beginning because the meat we have just added is more than what we added from the start. I'll give this a good mix until everything is well combined. Then I'll cover and let it cook for another 15 to 20 minutes on medium heat. After 15 minutes, this is what we have. Now I'm going to mix it. I just want to show you that it did bring out its own juices. I have not added water yet. We will add water. We don't want to water it down from the start. We want it to bring out its own juices with the heat. Now I'm going to add the stockfish, the tough one I spoke to you about earlier. Then I'll add the rest of the plain onion. Now it's time to add the water. So I'll add some water to the same level or almost the same level as the meat. Then I'll give it all a good mix. This is going to continue to cook on medium heat for about 30 minutes. I recommend you check on it at least once or twice just so you know what is going on in your pot. You don't want it to burn. After 30 minutes, we're going to check to be sure our meat is done. And by the looks of things, you can say this is done. Can you see the jiggly pomo? It's not looking as hard as it did earlier. And the stockfish is already falling off the bone. So yeah, it is done. Now, if you have not liked this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop amazing recipes like this one. Thank you. Now I'm going to separate the meat from the stock and set it aside. I have the pot heating up, so I'll add the palm oil. Once it dissolves, I'll let it heat up for about 30 seconds, then turn off the heat. Then I'll go in with the ground ogbono seeds. It is important that you turn off the heat at this point or else it'll fry. We don't want it to fry. If it does, the ogbono will lose its viscosity and we don't want that. Now use the back of your spoon to melt down or dissolve the ogbono. Once it is nice and smooth like so, I'll go in with the meat stock and begin to stir until it thickens up. At this point, you can turn the heat back on and then continue to give it a mix until it becomes nice and thickened. It is too thick, so I'll add some more water until I reach my desired consistency. Now I'm going to add in the ogiri. If you are using iru, this is the time to add it. I'll give it a mix until the ogiri melts in the soup. If you don't want to go through the stress I went through trying to melt this ogiri in the soup, melt it in some water before adding it to the soup so it dissolves faster, because I took the longer route, obviously. Now I'm going to season it some more, just lightly season, because we have not added the meat. The meat still has some flavor, so I lightly season it and then go in with the crayfish powder, the stockfish flakes, and the deboned dried catfish. I'll add the smoked prawns and go in with the ground uziza seeds, about a teaspoon. Now I'll add the last of the pepper and the onion blend. Then I'll give it a mix. I'll add some water because the soup is still thick, just a little bit of water. Then I'll give it a good mix until everything is well combined. Just because this soup is thickened does not mean it is cooked. We are going to cook it for another 20 minutes on low heat. Now during that 20 minutes, I strongly advise you keep stirring it between 3 and 5 minutes or else it'll stick to the pot. If it doesn't stick to the pot, if you are using a non-stick like mine, it'll burn. I will just cover it lightly, leaving a vent. I'm not covering it all the way so it doesn't boil over and spill. After 20 minutes, the aroma that will hit you, that's the original aroma from the ogbono. It is nicely cooked. Now I'm going to go in with the cooked meat from earlier. You can see it still has a little bit of stock in it, so you don't want to do too much water from the start. I will scoop in all of the goodness the pot still has. I'm not interested in wasting it. Now I'm going to give this a good mix until everything is well combined. Let me know, what do you like enjoying your ogbono with? Akpu, gari, or amala? Tell me in the comments. My brain at this point is busting. I could not stop staring. Oh my god, this looks so delicious. I'll cover this and let it simmer for another 3 minutes. You don't want to cover it all the way or else it'll spill and boil over. So I'm going to add my blanched kale. I told you earlier you can use spinach, ugu, but if you have uziza leaves, that is even better. That uziza leaf is a game changer. Like, it is a burst of flavor. Now I'll give this a good mix and I will turn off the heat because this soup is done. If you have not liked this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified, because I'm going to be dropping amazing recipes like this one. Guys, can you see how set this soup is? If you want, you can add more water, taste and adjust the seasoning, but for me this is just perfect. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.